All right, how's everybody doing? Thank y'all for being here already. Shout out to Candice in the chat, General Vig in
And
the chat.
easy,
Appreciate
general.
y'all for being here. Yeah, we got some good topics to talk about today. I think we have quite a bit. Did y'all have anything? Well, by the way, guy in the top right's name is a common idiot. I don't think I have your links in the description, so sorry about
That's all
that.
right.
But if y'all
That's all
search it up on YouTube, it's a common idiot. If you want to hear some pop culture stuff, TV, movie news, stuff like that, he got you covered there. And then Casey, does kind of similar stuff to me, more political side of things. A lot of live streams. So if y'all like that stuff, make sure you go check it out. Whether you're watching live right now or watching on the replay, go check these two people out. My channel's name is Justin Reloaded. Just had to start fresh for reasons that I don't want to say, but just know that I'm starting fresh. But yeah, that's some good topics. Did y'all have anything that y'all wanted to start with?
No, man. Whatever you got going, at least on my end, I'm good.
Well, let's talk about the Jason Aldean stuff then. I don't know if y'all saw, but Jason Aldean, thank you, Matt, for sending that to me earlier. I got to get on that early. Jason Aldean is filing a lawsuit against Whoopi Goldberg and The View. Let me see if I can pull up that article real quick.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think he's even. I think if it's the same publication, he might be suing CMT as well.
Yeah, so I saw that, but then I also saw that was 6 days ago. I feel like that would have been like bigger news, right?
You would imagine.
Shout out to GR in the chat. Thank you, man, for being
Hey,
here.
What's up, everyone?
Hey,
Night, Ronan. Yeah, let me bring up this article real quick. Seems legit. I mean, at least the View one seems legit. There's documentation and everything for it. So
yeah, I know. That's why. And I didn't know the news articles. I was like, I don't know how accurate it is. But then I saw other people. Like I saw the View thing gaining traction. I was like, wow. I was like, this is a big deal if it is. So
yeah, I agree. It seems as though Jason Aldean is kind of based, but also he edited out 6 seconds of the BLM footage that was in his music video. Now we don't know if that was for copyright reasons. I don't know if because it was filmed by Fox Atlanta, but if it was copyright reasons, I don't understand why he wouldn't come out and make a statement saying that that's why he removed it, because he knows his plays on that song went up 27,000% since the cancellation. So he knows that he's getting rich off these people who are supporting him because he's canceled. So if he didn't mean to do that, I would think that he would come out and make a statement. Seems like he's kind of trying to sweep it under the rug a bit.
Yeah, him not making a statement is why. I mean, because the story sounds good, like it makes sense. And I definitely could see a Fox company doing, like Fox doing that. But him not making the statement, like you said, it is throwing me off. Like, well, why doesn't he say something about it?
Yeah. Yeah, Candice says, did he or his team though? Well, I mean, technically it's going to be his team. I'm sure he's not editing his own music videos, so it's not him going in there and like secretly editing it out. Like he probably either told his team or his team advised him to do it, and he was like, okay, like we made our money off the conservatives, off the right. Now we can go ahead and ride the fence. That never works out well. But
I mean, the way I read it is they said that Fox was like, you need to send us the written lyrics to the song. But instead, his team apparently sent the song to them. And then all of a sudden, after, I guess, all the controversy, they remembered and were like, oh, that's not good enough or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that he didn't approve it and that it wasn't him. I'm just saying it's been a couple days now. And if somebody went behind his back and removed it, then I think that he would have said something. It seems like with the statements that he's been making and his performances and everything, seems like he would have said something on social media about it.
Right.
Yeah, because he's getting a lot of other support from other country music stars and whatnot. They're kind of, in my opinion, kind of putting their neck on the line to defend him. So if this is the case and he did remove something, or even his team did, I still feel like I agree with you. Like he should address it in some way, shape, or form. He's probably realistically wanting this to die down and get out of the spotlight. But realistically,
I do you think like actually, because this dude is making so much money off this?
I know, yeah, that's true too.
Well, yeah, but too, I mean, he's making money off of that. But I mean, a lot of this stuff, remember, is they make a lot of these artists and stuff make a lot of money off of sponsorships as well. Like their songs playing. I think I remember watching some things like Prince and all these other, like they don't make as nearly as much as you think off of the music itself, the rights of the music. It's the recording industry, like the studios that own the music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like That's my understanding, at least. So I think, like you see, Post Malone's a great example. He's sponsored by Bud Light, like very heavily, right? So he's never going to turn his back to Bud Light. He makes a lot of money off them, and a lot of these other people are the same way. They're very heavily sponsored by other companies. You see them at when they go to your shows and you see the banners of like Smirnoff and everything. They're getting paid to have that there. So in that advertisement. So you never know.
Yeah. He also might have, he might not be making all the money from those songs. He might be, under a record label that's taking most of the money. So maybe he's not actually making that much money off the plays and everything. But let's check out some of this article. It says Jason Aldean says he's taking the advice of counsel and filing a $40 million defamation suit against Whoopi, Sunny, Joy, and the rest of the host of ABC's The View. The suit, filed in the 65th District Court of Writs and Motions, seeks damages from both the show itself as well as the individuals who called Aldean racist. And here's a documentation. It's really hard to see.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a roofing proposal. So I don't know what that has to do with anything. I'd stop the stream. Hold on.
Unless that was an ad, I don't know. But
there's so many ads on these things.
I know.
I closed out the article now.
You're like,
here, hang on. I got the link.
And I hear an echo. What's going on? Okay, I fixed it. Dude, everything just fell apart right there.
Sorry, they hating on us. That's all.
Yeah, I just sent the private chat.
Okay.
But yeah, it's still crazy nonetheless if this is the case and if he's moving forward with this. So like you said,
right? These ads are so annoying.
Oh wait, that was ads.
Yeah,
was it ads?
now they changed them up.
I had to turn my ad blocker off. But yeah, anyway. Oh, I can't look at that feed.
Yeah,
man.
I know.
So gross. What kind of ad is that?
I don't know. Anyway. I got my ad blocker on, so I have to see that junk.
What is an ad blocker? And I need to get mine. All right, go ahead, y'all.
Yeah, I'll turn it on. Wait, it got removed. Never mind. ABC responded by saying that they had no idea that the show's host would be so brutal, but held firm that the show is protected First Amendment free speech. What ABC failed to remember is that free speech doesn't save Whoopi from screaming fire in a crowded theater. She needs to pay for her little stunt, said Aldean's attorney. They all do. Their behavior wasn't just abhorrent, it was un-American. I said in my video, I don't think that they have an issue with that statement at all. Like Whoopi, Joy, Sunny, none of them really care about being un-American. Like they probably take that as a compliment. They hate America.
Yeah. They're like, all right, job well done. Now, in the clip, did they say he is a racist, or they say, in my opinion, he's a racist? Do we remember?
I can't remember. I can pull him up again and we can go through it. But I'm pretty sure they said, I don't know. I think that Whoopi said he's a racist. Though.
Yeah, because they talk so fast and loud and dumb. I could see them like, he's racist, just saying it just like that.
You may like show's feet pic. What's Justin got going on in his search history? I don't think I'm searching for feet pic with extraterminal fungus.
Yeti must have, hacked into your PC.
Yeti must have hacked. Maybe he's the one that hacked my Discord too.
Oh, Jesus.
Let me see if I can pull up that other article. Because the same people, Dunning-Kruger or whatever, wrote that he is suing CMT too. So let me find that.
Here you go. I just sent it to you in the private.
Okay. I know that's right. You sure did, Matt.
Let's see.
Well, I'm trying to see if there was if you could find that information anywhere else, but it looks like this. Actually, I did find it here, but I don't know what kind of website this is. It looks like more of a forum. So it's still referencing this one website though.
It's a $40 million lawsuit against Whoopi and The View, and then a $58 million First Amendment lawsuit against CMT. So this guy's going on a lawsuit tour. That's almost $100 million. That's
a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, I think they'll if this is true and this actually goes through, they would settle out of court or something like that. This isn't going to go all the way through, right? Because, I mean, there's so much money involved in this. But I think if this is the case and he's actually doing this, he's just trying to prove a point, right? He's just trying to like, hey, you can't just defame me and call me an ist or phobe or anything like that and get away with it, which is what needs to happen, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because we're all about free speech, but you can't just go around and say like, oh, this person's, they've committed, for example, grape, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. You can't just go around saying that. You can, and if you want to, that's fine. But you're going to pay consequences for doing that, and that's what we were talking about yesterday, like consequences for your actions. And I'm glad if this is true, he's holding them accountable to it. So,
especially because it messes up like his character, like, so it could be bad for his branding, all of that, right? So now you're getting into his livelihood. So yeah, he has every right to do this.
Yeah, so 100% would be damaging to his future. I think that it probably made him a lot of money present day, like right now, it probably made him a whole lot more than it lost him. But in the future, if you get labeled as a racist, like, it is not good, like right now, a ton of people are listening to Jason Aldean who wouldn't normally listen to him just to support his song, support the music video. But over time, that's going to go away. And then you're going to lose that, support, and you're going to walk out of it with a label of racist.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. And a lot of this too, remember, like these, the venues and whatnot, those are places are owned, a lot of them, by corporations, right? Like if I'm just using an example, like Vegas, right? Certain venues like that. If those corporations are very pro-leftist and into all that, ESG stuff, they don't want anything to do with someone who is controversial like this at all, because that hurts their ESG scores. So that's what happens, right? They push these people away, and we saw that with Gina Carano, right? Like Gina Carano got canceled. Another company could have easily picked her up, and no one would. Warner Brothers, no one's going to touch her with a 10-foot pole because of what happened. Even though she had all that customer support, they're like, nope, we don't care.
Right. And you'd be surprised what companies, like even a rural stadium might even say like, oh, we don't want him, because they still are owned by somebody who cares about ESG scores. So that really can mess him up, where he can't even tour or anything. So
well, and then they'll dogpile onto that place that picked them up. It's like, oh, they must support race. You know what I mean? That's the game that they do. They literally like create you like you're some plague, and if anything you touch is exactly how you are or how you're being labeled, and then you're untouchable, or unwanted, I guess, not untouchable.
Yeah, trying to pull up the Joe Rogan clip of him talking about it real quick.
Oh, that was, I saw your video on that earlier. That was wild. I'm glad Joe Rogan actually like sometimes he's hit or miss on some of his things, but he's pretty common sense. And that's in my opinion, was just a common sense take. I mean, every normal human being I talked to about this literally has said the same exact things that he said. So
yeah, check this out real quick.
People are upset at the country music channel. Because the Jason Aldean song, Try That in a Small Town.
Yeah.
The level of outrage. Like, now, I'm not saying that that's the greatest song the world's ever known, but the level of outrage coming from people that are upset about that song is so strange, when there are hundreds of rap songs out there that are infinitely worse and also enjoyable,
misogynistic, glorifying violence, the whole thing.
And no complaints at all. And we're not even talking about old stuff. There's new stuff too. There's hip hop, there's wild rock songs, there's a lot of wild shit, and to be focusing on that one, and it's the racial aspect of it was crazy, because like the real Antifa problems that were happening during the BLM, I think there was a lot of white people doing that, wasn't it? It was a lot of lost liberal whites who are very angry, who decided to take up this movement and smash things. So like the racial aspect of it, there's nothing racial about the lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, we saw like Jake Paul was, caught breaking into stores and stealing stuff.
What? I didn't even know. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yo.
Wow. Dude's like $100 millionaire. He's breaking into stores just for fun.
Amazing. So here's what you see what he says, the racial aspect of it, right? But we know what it is. It's just giving a label so that they can break down something else American. If you ask the normie black person, though, oh, how do you feel about that Jason Aldean song? They're going to say, who?
People are upset at the country music.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what the normal anybody doesn't know half of what's going on, like with this stuff. But, they get the one person to make the TikTok, and then it's like, all right, let's brand this, whatever, and cause a controversy. I'm not saying it's a psyop. I'm saying this is how they take down American things. It either goes under the guise of racism or homophobia, misogynistic, or all of that.
Or you're a Yahtzee. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they know that nobody does research, right? Like especially TikTok, that's where a lot of people get their news. They watch a little 30-second clip. They don't do any research into that video at all besides what that little, and then like, oh my God, I didn't know this person's a horrible, I have to share it. And it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. The people who are stupid enough to still watch The View, they're damn sure not, verifying the sources that The View has. Like if The View calls somebody, if Whoopi Goldberg is calling Jason Aldean racist, they're probably just going to take it at face value and be like, yeah, he probably is a racist.
God, of all, and yeah, you're right. I mean, how's that show even still on? Whoopi looks like she doesn't even feel like being there. Especially, Whoopi cracked me up though, because how do you go and call him a racist? Let us not forget what was that, last year when Whoopi said some weird thing about the Holocaust, you know what I'm saying? Something about, what did she say? It wasn't a racial thing, something, whatever. She shared some thought about it. They was like, you're suspended for 2 weeks and you're going to retraining. Yeah, I remember that because I made a video about it because I was like, this is crazy. I said, but I'm happy to see it because now, it's happening to her what she does to others. And you're still doing this to somebody else. This happened to you.
That was and in my opinion, that was more of we have to do something for everyone to think like we held her accountable. But in reality, she had a 2-week vacation and that was it. Like she didn't actually do anything, right? They didn't hold her accountable in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but she can't. I don't know, Matt. I covered that really closely because I woke up in the middle of the night when it came through my phone, and I was like, "What?" And I was like laughing to myself, and I ran downstairs and I made a video about it. And I had really not been making like cultural topic videos, but I had to cover this because this girl already, she was calling people all kinds of racist, everything. You know.
Yeah.
And then to see this happen to her, I said, "Well, you don't be mad now because this is how you live, so now they're doing it to you." And she came close to losing her job. I'm telling you, she did, because y'all know who she was talking about. So
yeah. But that's where the balancing act is, right? Because like Joy Behar, for example, say she said this, right? I think it would have been the same thing where they're just like, all right, you got to take some sensitivity class training. You don't talk about your owners like that. You know what I mean? Watch what you're saying. But other than that, they're a protected class of people. And remember, this is all propaganda. That's the only reason why that show exists is because it's propaganda for a specific audience, but it's not called news, right? It's not news, but it is.
It's just so sad that they can sway and influence so many people the wrong way and don't care. How do you not care? Like that would bother me after a while. Like, you know what? I can't keep lying like this. Like, let me take my millions, invest in a trucking company, and then just go lay around. It's something. I don't know, but whatever.
These people, they don't care about anything but themselves at the end of the day. Let's look at the politicians. They're the worst. They literally sell out our countries every single day and they don't care. They don't, they want us to be poor and broke while they live. As long as them and their families are fine, they don't care. We could burn and they could care less. So
yeah. It's definitely it was definitely a case of, you can attack anybody on the right, but once if anybody on The View attacks anyone on the left, I mean, we watched it last week whenever The View was talking about the Jason Aldean stuff, when the lady referred to the BLM stuff as a riot, and immediately somebody else on the panel corrected her and said, protest. And she was like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. She's like, oh, please don't fire me. Please, I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly. Don't. I'm sorry. I just got this job. Don't do this.
Yeah. And I think it's similar to what happened with Whoopi, because if that's the one group of people that you can't.
She tried it.
Yeah, you can't.
She was
can't.
Serious. She was like, what? I was like, this is hilarious. It was just funny to me because I said she was.
And I don't know if y'all remember. I really don't remember either because I don't really keep up with The View that much. But I know she works for Valuetainment now for Patrick Bet-David's company, the Jedediah Bila girl. She used to be on The View, or was it The Talk? I don't know. One of those dumbass low IQ shows, and they brought Hillary Clinton on, I think, and they were supposed to just give her like softball questions, and everybody else kind of agreed to give her softball questions, and Jedediah like actually asked her like hard questions, and she got fired like the next day.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Jedediah, but with a name like Jedediah, I bet she probably felt convicted. Like, I have to ask these hard questions. Like, shout out to
now
her.
she has a pretty successful podcast under Patrick Bet-David. So
yeah, good for her.
Yeah, it's good to see. But what is the next topic? Y'all have anything?
I mean, okay, so go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Because I would say I haven't seen anything new from what we talked about yesterday.
Well,
Today was a little busy.
A bit of a topic that I'm so annoyed that I'm making it a topic, but this won't go away. But so I just want to talk about it a little bit. Okay. Ron DeSantis makes this curriculum, or no, he didn't make it, right? He authorizes this curriculum in Florida to say, you know, that that's not all the curriculum is about, but it's about the slavery or whatever, like American history or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But there's a sentence in there that says that slaves benefited from slavery. Okay. When I first heard it, I didn't even think twice about it because I'm like, whatever. You know, that's just me now with everything, with a lot of this stuff. Like, I'm seriously tired of looking into the past. So I'm just like, whatever, they can say whatever they want. And I think you could have a nuanced conversation about it. You know, obviously some people aren't going to like hearing that, right? Whatever. So now Kamala Harris, she went off and she made like this big thing. She went off the deep end. Oh, they trying to bring back, you know, the whole talk. Yeah. Mind you, Kamala Harris's ancestors owned slaves. Anyway, but my issue now, I'm looking at the right, like, come on, y'all got to chill a little bit. Like, this is not, you know, people can have their thoughts. Byron Donalds, who got on my nerves 2 weeks ago, you know, with his tweet, but he says, like, yeah, the curriculum is cool, but I just don't really like that one line that's in the curriculum. And now the DeSantis campaign team, everybody, they're calling him a rhino. They're calling him a Democrat, everything. I'm like, I don't think we need to take it that far if we just have different opinions, right? Like, I thought this was the side of like, well, we could talk about our differences then be okay. Their slander, it is insane. It's insane.
The right is as bad as the left, and the infighting, the backstabbing that they do, you see it all the time on Twitter. If you pay attention to a lot of this stuff, it's very, that's why I don't like to associate myself and that's like committed, like being considered right. I just try to say, like, I'm just common sense, man. I'm just like, because there is no, I think each side leads to the same tunnel anyway, if you know what I'm talking about. Right. But yeah, I agree that they definitely, I don't know, the infighting makes no sense. This is the time to where we should be trying to build a better country and try to build actual solutions, and then nitpick over something stupid like that, or you know what I mean? It just
and then he even went back and said, and I just sent the link to the private chat of like Ron DeSantis talking about, I guess that now Byron Donalds is a leftist. And I'm like, I'm not even mad at him over what he said, but he said like, I only said I had a problem with one line. That's it. Just one line thing. Like, I'm good. Like, they won't stop.
We heard Byron Donalds, though, he was critical of that particular piece. There's been a rough stuff between the campaign and Byron Donalds. Is that helpful, though?
So, at the end of the day, you got to choose. Are you going to side with Kamala Harris in liberal media outlets? Are you going to side with the state of Florida? And I think it's very clear that these guys did a good job on those standards. It wasn't anything that was politically motivated. These are serious scholars. You've seen Dr. Allen out on TV talking about the stories, talking about his own family history and everything like that. So don't side with Kamala on that. Stand up.
We heard
Kamala.
First of all, this guy he just cracks me up. But you see what I'm saying? Like, he didn't side with Kamala. He said one line. He said, so what I have to feel like I'm defending is people have a right to their own opinions. There's mad people like going back and forth with me. Like, no, he's on the left now. And I'm like, y'all are tripping, man. This is not WWE or whatever. Like, this is people. Okay. So he's not all of a sudden against Florida. The man's been representing Florida, doing the best he can. I was more concerned about we stand with Israel. You know what I mean? I was more concerned about that tweet. Like, why is that popping up right now? Like, that's my bigger issue. Like,
well, that's the same lunatic thought process. It's like, well, if you don't agree with Trump on every single policy, then you're not an actual Trump fan. It's like, no, like I support Trump. I'll admit that right now. There are a lot of things that he's done, and I'm like, I wouldn't have done that, or maybe you should have done it this way. Does that mean it's all or nothing? No, that's not human. Like, there's plenty of things. It's like, yeah, I agree with you on 95% of the things, and then there's 5%. It's like, there's a lot of we've talked about this on, I think, the last Friday stream. A lot of the candidates that are running for office, right? It's like, I agree with them on most things, and there's a couple of things I can point out and be like, that's probably I don't agree with that, but
I think that you're right in that for the most part, the right and the left are really similar, especially the way that they handle the actual politics, like in the space where they'll backstab each other, they'll talk shit about each other. In an instant, like Byron Donalds critiques like one little thing, and in an instant he's the enemy of not just DeSantis but all of his followers. And the only thing that I would say is different is that like most of the people who support, like most of us who are supporting the right instead of the left at this current point in time, have better intentions than the left, in my opinion. I think the left is more just like, F the right. We're just going to do whatever the right doesn't want us to do. The right actually has values that comes from somewhere. Like, we're actually trying to preserve something, whether that's the actual nation and like the essence of America, or whether that's comes from your faith, whatever it is. It actually comes from somewhere. Whereas the left is just like, no, F the right. We're going to do whatever the right doesn't want us to do. I think that's the only difference.
I agree.
Yeah. So it's basically the policies, and that's the point. People are people. So when I see certain things, I'm like, y'all are tripping. Like, people are people. Now he's not all of a sudden not a Republican or whatever. Like, it's a bit much. Like, because here, I'm not talking about the crazy leftists, but when it comes to war policies, I side more with liberals, like classic liberals. Like a Jimmy Dore, or that's the first name I could think of right now. Because they break it down much better. They've been looking into this and talking about it. Most people on the right, they take the patriot side and say, we have the best army in the world and we could beat up everybody. And it's like, bro, man, come on. We got to speak in realistic terms. Under this administration, I don't think we have the best army right now, but they get tribal about it. So I agree with them on certain things. Does that make me now a Democrat? Absolutely not.
Well, and
that's just how life works.
Here's one thing about the leftists. I'll say, at least they're unified. They're unified in their hate for the right, and they will. You normally see them. Hey, we're going to play dirty. We're all going to do what we need to do, and they're unified in doing whatever it takes to get whatever they need to get done. Whereas the right, they argue back and forth, they bicker, and I think the reason for that is because two things, and maybe this is just because I'm very cynical. I think the right knows that they have the mass amount of support out there where if they unified, they would be able to push over everything from the left-hand side, no problem. In my opinion, the right and the left, they all work together backdoor. Like, out in the public and on the news and all that, it sounds like they're fighting for us. And it sounds like, there's no teams. There's no actual right or left. These people are all on they all sit at the same table. They all put the money in their same pockets. Most of them, not all of them. There's a handful there. When they're speaking, that's like, I can't think of that one guy. He's bald. He's from Texas. He's always ripping them apart.
Chip boy.
Yeah, I think so. He's always ripping them. Like, I can't see him being in bed with leftists, right? But like Casey, you just said the point of, a lot of the Republicans are all very rah, 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 let's go to war. Yeah, because they're making millions of dollars doing that because they have investments in Lockheed Martin and all this stuff. So they don't care that millions of Iraqis died and U.S. soldiers die and veterans. They don't give a shit. They just want their money. That's how it is.
Yeah, to the last Ukrainian, like Lindsey Graham loves to say, like,
dog. Oh, he is such a piece of garbage.
Shoes, like,
how? Oh my God, how like that guy?
It's not belts, bro. Like, to the last Ukraine. What does that mean? Like, okay, and that's what we're seeing actually right now. But anyway, but
real quick, right. After we finish this topic right here, I want to watch the Piers Morgan Pearl interview.
Yes.
God, yeah.
I gotta go get something to drink real quick, so y'all can keep talking about that. But I'll be right back in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. And to that point, just a couple of other points. You're right when you say the left, they do know how to stick together. They be like, all right, guys, the new narrative is men can have babies, right? And they be straight faced. Men can have babies. They don't care. Like, they don't care. Even if they be like, microwaves can have babies now. Okay. We're going to fight for the rights of microwaves. They stay on point. So Republicans, I feel like, are so smart that they forget to be human. I don't know if that makes any sense how I'm saying it, but they're like, no, well, we can't just be blindly loyal because the policies and the, you know what? Sometimes once in a while, we might have to like fight for what's right. Right. And so for me, this is my thought. Like, and I'm gonna bring it back up again because they just called out for more indictments on Trump or something. I don't know. Every time I turn them, this is what's it's gonna be. There's no nuanced conversation about that for me. When I'm talking in a DeSantis space and they're like, well, no, he might have did. I'm like, I don't want to hear what he might have did or didn't do or probably did. It doesn't matter. There's no nuance because they're coming after him because we know Joe Biden did X, Y, Z. We know Hillary Clinton did X, Y, Z. And yeah, for all it's worth, Trump should have did what he had to do. But I don't know how, I don't know. Anyway, but with him, it's like, he might have had an extra paper. I'm not understanding really what y'all trying to get him after, whatever. And then it's like, so now Republicans try to figure it out. No, this right here is actually an attack on your country. It's not about him. It's about your country. They're using lawfare to tell you, we don't want him as president, so we're going to try to put him away so you don't vote for him.
Yep.
That's not American.
And that's the thing, right? They know that if he is running in the next election, there is no way that they can fix things where there's no way any human being is going to believably think that Joe Biden or anybody else is going to get more votes than there's no way. We already know that it didn't happen last time. There is absolutely no way now, considering how bad things have gotten. So they have to do two things. Either one, we talked about this last time, eliminate election completely, and not even happen because of some type of security problem or whatever the case may be. Or two, take him off the card. Take him off the card where he can't even run and have him, he's a criminal, this, that, and the other. We all know Hillary Clinton. We all know that Joe Biden are literal criminals. They will never be held accountable. And if they are ever held accountable for public viewing, it's all optics. Because we see that's the whole point of the Hunter Biden stuff. It's optics. So they go, well, see, look, no, our DOJ, they're not biased. See, they slapped Hunter on the wrist and he got indicted and he got in trouble. So now we're going to go after Trump. No, that's all a circus. It's all a clown because they don't want to go after Joe Biden. So Hunter's the fall guy. Right. So it looks like, they are prosecuting his son. And because we are a fair and no, we're not, dude. We are ran by communists. And that's it's the reality of it.
That really is. That really is the reality.
All right. Are y'all ready for the Pearl interview?
Bring her up.
I know.
Because I feel like
actually, this is like the first time I've ever felt bad for Pearl. Because you can tell
I heard about this. I didn't. She was so
betrayed. But let's watch this. It happens like in the first couple of seconds. Apparently, she thought she was going on there to have a free speech conversation. Like they were going to talk about free speech. And he just pulled a bait and switch on her.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
What
the fuck did he just say?
Wait, what did you hear
that? It was real low.
Welcome back to Piers Organization. Pearl Davis is the self-styled feminist major buzz online.
Fucking British.
She's appeared in a couple of debates on this show. It's called Uncensored After All. We welcome any honestly held opinions. But this week, she's facing a major backlash for posting a song titled "Why Can't We Talk About the Jews," which she dedicated to far-right commentator Nick Fuentes before later deleting.
She's like, whoa, what?
Without getting kicked off of YouTube.
Now, lost her fucking mind.
Hitler was a good guy, but I kind of want to know why. Now there's all these conspiracy theories, and the more they talk, I think maybe they're right. But I can't even listen to the convo.
This is cringe.
Well, Pearl joins me now along with...
Well, the funny part is she never said that it was inspired by Nick or like he said that she dedicated the song to Nick. She never said any of that or did any of that.
She didn't. And I noticed that when people were retweeting the song again, it said like dedicated to Nick like on the screen. And I'm like, That wasn't on the original one. So I don't know why people are doing that.
Yeah.
With the New York author and founder of End Jew Hatred, Brooke Goldstein, over in the States. All right, Pearl, you've come on the show a couple of times, right? We've had some spirited debates about feminism and stuff like that, and I thought you've made some good points. And
She's so panicked.
Then I wake up the other day and I see this thing that's trending,
like a deer in the headlights,
doing this song, and I couldn't really believe what I was watching. I didn't know why did you find it funny?
Huh?
Did you find it funny? You know the backlash, right? I mean, you deleted it. You obviously thought you shouldn't have posted it.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you do that? Genuine question.
I mean, the point was more about cancel culture and people getting kicked off of social media. If you finished the song, it was more about like, you can't talk about this topic without being canceled by the left and the right. I don't really have a strong opinion either way. It was kind of just like tongue in cheek.
No.
I didn't really expect it to get that crazy. It wasn't dedicated to anyone. I don't know why they say that, but that's not true.
I mean, Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist. He's a Holocaust denier. He said afterwards that you had dropped a diss track on the Jews, which he clearly took to be something which was mocking.
Of course, they
Jewish
put him next to
people.
Alex.
Holy shit! Wait, I've never seen a black dude have hair like that.
You never seen Ali? He probably.
No, I've seen him, but I never noticed his hair was like. I guess
like
he's
an
not
Asian
black. He's probably like Somalian or something, right?
You're like, holy.
Anyway, we got distracted.
I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. What do you want to know why?
Well, it was more like, why can't we talk about it? It wasn't like
we talked about the more conspiracy theories you've heard about Hitler and the Holocaust, presumably.
I'm a fan of conspiracy theory. Like, people think I'm part of the CIA. There's a whole conspiracy thing online. And, I'm not for like silencing it either way. The point of the song isn't like I really have an opinion on the matter. It's more, I don't think we should ban people off of social media. So far so that I don't even, I think it should be illegal to ban anybody off of social media unless they're inciting violence. That was the point of the song. I'm not really... It was more like tongue-in-cheek.
But just to be clear, what are the conspiracy theories surrounding Hitler, which you feel the more you hear them, the more you're interested in them?
Well, I don't know because I can't hear them.
Huh?
I don't know
the ones that Nick Fuentes.
Well, I wasn't even talking about Nick.
That's the thing that drives me absolutely crazy about Pearl is that she's always like she'll like insinuate things, not even just about this topic, but just about anything. And she'll strongly insinuate something, and then somebody's like, what do you mean by that? Or like they push back a little bit. She's like, I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions.
She buckles.
Yeah.
She'll never actually stand on anything.
Because I know exactly what she's talking about. Because what she's saying here, I don't think it's wrong. Like, yeah, that's a horrible stop where you stop right there. It looks like she's having a stroke. But
I was thinking,
it should be okay for anyone to ask questions about anything, right? Because there's a lot of things in history that we don't know the reality of it is, or we don't know what really happened. So, but if you ask questions about that German man, that German painter, if you ask anything about him that's outside the narrative, people are like, why would you even ask that? You know what school told you. That's enough. It's like, but see, that's the thing. When you get that knee-jerk reaction, just like everything else, you're like, I'm hovering over something. So why are you so defensive about it? We don't talk about Stalin like that, and that guy's done, I think, even worse. He's killed more people and a couple of, so you can say his name no problem, and it's like, all right, whatever. But that guy we can't talk about. So
but the problem with Pearl is like she brings up a good topic, but her thing is that I think she's just doing it for likes and retweets, even if she is asking questions, but for the most part it's for engagement. Okay. Yeah. So then now when they ask you about it, even though she's being ambushed on here because she did not, I don't think she knew. Yeah. Like Ronan said, she was set up. They brought a Jewish woman and everything on there. Like we about to get, her last name is Goldstein and everything. But, but you have to be ready. You have to come correct and be ready. If you're going to bring up a topic like this, then be ready. And when they ask you, what is it? Why are you saying this or whatever? It's a very simple thing. Well, what do you want to know about the guy? Well, it's not that I want to know stuff. We should be able to explore all parts of history We should be able to find out what happened. Maybe so, of course, so we don't repeat it again. You know, you play them at their own game with what they're saying to you. And then why is it every time somebody says the word anti-Semitic, it's like, here we go, let's bring Nick on. Like, well, he has nothing to do with the song. Like, I mean, I know, right? I know, but like, dag, he had pictures of him and everything. Like, Jesus, he was really ready for this.
Dude, he is so clouded. Like, he went on Fresh and Fit, and they got 100,000 live viewers on Rumble, and they've never gotten close to that before. Like, the dude has he has his name holds weight now.
And exactly, we've talked about this before though. Why, right? Because the guy, you can't mention his name, you're not allowed to talk about him. So people are like, why can't I know? When you try to prevent people from doing anything, it is human instinct to go, why? Or no, I'm not gonna do what you tell me to do. I am going to do it myself regardless. So the more you tell people, oh, you can't watch that or you can't do that, they're gonna go, well, why not? And you don't get an answer, especially with Nick. Like, they just label him all these things. And over the past 4 or 5 years, we've seen what they've done with Trump and others. They label them the same exact thing. And they go, well, wait a second, we know that wasn't real with Trump. We know that wasn't real with Mr. Jones. So why are they doing that with him? Let's at least look into it and let us decide for ourselves whether we appreciate what he's saying or not. And with one thing I'll say about Nick there, if Nick was sitting there and they asked him that question, you know what he would do? Full throttle answer it. Yeah. He will give them the answer that they really don't want to hear. Yep. And he doesn't give a shit. Whereas Pearl, she may even think some of that stuff, right? She may even agree, but she is so deathly afraid of the mob and the cancel culture where she's like, well, I was just asking, why can't I ask? And it's just like, nope, that's where you bent the knee without bending the knee, so to speak.
That's where it goes back to, I think that Pearl's a grifter, and I think she is ultimately a leftist, because we were talking about earlier, right-wing beliefs come from somewhere. That's why Nick's willing to go on TV and know he's going to get canceled, but he'll tell you the truth. He'll tell you what he really thinks, because his belief comes from something deeper. It's not just I think this because it makes me money, like Pearl. I think this because I feel like there's a higher purpose for me in the world, so I'm going to say this regardless, and that's why he's willing to get banned. Yeah, that's the type of people that people want nowadays, man. They want those people who are real enough to get banned.
Right. And real quick, they would never have him on, because not only is he going to answer the question, at least if he would just answer the question and leave it there. No, he's going to bring a historic fact. He's going to ramble like at least 5 facts in 1 minute. That's going to make people, and they're not going to be able to
they can't rebuttal it.
Yep, because he's gonna say it a certain way where they're just gonna sit there dumb. And now the audience have been open to new things that they've never heard before.
That's what happens when you shut off ideas. You can't combat them now. You have, like, Nick has been in his little chamber with his audience, and they've been looking at this stuff. They've been researching this stuff, talking about it, and nobody else talks about it because nobody else is allowed to. So whenever somebody escapes from that world, they become so powerful that they somehow infiltrate the mainstream again. You block them from everything. You have no answer, no respect.
It's crazy if you talk, because I know a lot about World War II and German history and stuff, because that's just always been like my favorite time period, World War I and all. It's very interesting. A lot of people don't know that German painter was Time Man of the Year. And why? Like, they have no clue that was even a thing. I'm like, how do you not know that?
Yeah.
What do you mean? How was he named Person of the Year in Time Magazine? It's like, well, it's very simple, actually. If you look into it, it's not secret. It's just, it's not really well talked about. So
I always think of Nick, like that clip I sent y'all of him, like impersonating a Jewish person walking into a gas chamber. I can't bring it up. I wish I could, man, but I don't want to get this channel nuked.
Yeah,
anyway,
don't do that.
Night Ronan says Nick is cringe, but he should have the right to be cringe. I have one response to this.
I'm not here to be some sexy slapping for girls. Girls are here to be sexy for me. Throw it back on a nigga, and that's why you're gonna drop that ass for a nigga, because you were put here to drop that ass for a nigga.
All right,
dude. The best is he's doing that with a mustache, dude. Like, the stash is it's so like Ron. What's his name? Ron Burgundy.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
All right, let's
the
get
full
back to
video
this.
Is great.
Yeah. We'll play that at the end of the stream.
Speaking of Ye, to be honest, I don't know why they put that Nick was the inspiration for that song.
She's
I was
so
thinking
upset.
of Ye.
You are aware of the big backlash to this and the deep upset from the Jewish community.
I certainly am now. I just posted that song and I woke up and I was like, article. I was like, golly.
Right, but are you
This is
sorry?
Golly.
Gee, golly willikers.
That was the most Midwest white thing I ever heard in my life.
Oh, she is, yeah. Oh my God.
You ever seen her like compound that she has for YouTube?
No.
I think her
Dad's
dad
like a
bought it for her.
billionaire. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like there's a whole full basketball court and everything.
Isn't I know she was in the UK and then I think she came back to the States or wanted to come back to the States, but what's going to happen is with her is she got so hot, she went so, viral and shit like this. Now she's burning all her bridges where she'll always have a base like maybe the H3 podcast, but it's going to be that like it'll get stagnant. It'll just be the same people that follow her to the end of time, probably a lot of virgins. Yeah. And then, that's it.
She is kind of like the H3 of the red pill space. Like she's just a joke.
Yeah.
Nobody who actually has life experience or is like calls himself red pill is actually red pill. Nobody actually watches this woman. Like I don't know who her audience is. I don't understand.
When I first stumbled upon her, she was saying some things and I was like, what? Okay. Like some of it actually made sense. And I'm like, okay, but then if you listen to more than just a clip and you listen to like maybe 10 minutes of actual conversation, you're like, oh, okay, this girl's an idiot. Like this, you're just saying shit.
Just steals her talking points from other people.
Yeah, or appeases whoever's in front of her. And like you said, she steals from other content creators and makes it her own, and that's it. It's just, and she's a woman, so she knows that she's going to get.
I mean, that's all you really have to say. Like, you could stop there. She's a woman, so. Well, yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, it's a lot easier for women, especially in that space that she's trying to infiltrate. Like once a woman starts saying these things, the same thing as the conservative space, with like Sydney Watson and them. Once a woman starts saying those talking points, it just, for some reason, it just makes them go Super Saiyan in the views.
It's so annoying though, because they're not the ones who should be saying it because they half say it or they say too much because they're trying too hard. And so when I see it, I'm like, yeah, impressed over this. But I'll be like, whatever. Okay, she has a platform. But she always takes it a little bit too far. Or, okay, now she's got a good topic to talk about. She don't even know how to back it up. She's like, oh, golly gee.
Golly gee, Willikers, that man. Did you see the deleted tweet that she did?
No. Well, I think I did, but I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, I'll find it for you.
What up, Hypnotic?
What up, Hypnotic?
General Vic says, I don't need female grifters anymore. I have 11 labs to repeat back my opinions to me in a female voice now. True.
Like my whole point was that cancel culture is wrong. I am not speaking one way or the other about the issues. My question is, why are we canceled for talking about certain topics?
So you would allow Holocaust deniers to have space on social media to promote Holocaust denials to millions of people?
Why not? If the idea is so ridiculous, then it should be easily refuted.
Exactly.
And you see his face; he's so disgusted, man. He's ready to go ham for the, you know what I mean? But he's like,
no, he knows he's about to go viral. That's what this is.
Yeah, and it's like, why are you? Again, if something is so ridiculous and out of the norm, if some asshole wants to go ahead and spew a bunch of stupid shit, if you think it's that stupid, who cares?
Right.
What does it matter to you? Don't watch it.
Or
Turn
debate
the channel. Sorry.
Right. I'm sorry. Wait, why you
God, this shit, I hate that shit. I can't.
This is the one that got on my nerves, though.
Yeah, this is the one that got deleted.
Yeah, this is a wild statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she
think this is not true. I don't think this is true. Like I'm one of those people that I'll defend Pearl when all these moms are saying this is me. This is me at 35 versus you at however old Pearl is. They think it's like a dunk that they're hotter than Pearl because they're older. It's like, okay, well, compare your 35-year-old self to your 22-year-old self. It's going to be no competition.
Yeah,
most of the time. But
I mean,
the 16-year-olds being hotter than 26, dude, that's just not true. Like,
no.
They're not even fully developed sometimes.
He doesn't believe it. That's the thing, Justin.
Yeah.
Y'all talking about a woman, then you better know what y'all saying about she's a woman. That's woman business. I want attention. Let me think about what I can say that'll get me more. That's what it is. She doesn't really believe. First of all, what are you saying? 16? Why are we thinking like this? This is weird. What are we?
Like, why is it even coming up in conversation? Why is that popping up in your head? Why would you think that's something that people even would want to read? How?
Because what's happening is she's going down a line of thinking that's not really thinking. It's just her like posting things and getting views. And she's like, oh, if I go in this direction, I get more views. So she's just going as extreme in that direction as she can possibly go, to the point where she's saying that, minors are hotter than 26-year-olds.
Yeah.
And it's like,
You're like,
and she'll delete the things that she's like, okay, I overstepped a bit here. Like with that song that we just showed, she deleted that. She went a little bit too far in that direction. And this one, she's deleting it because she went a little bit too far. But it got 729,000 views before she deleted it. Okay.
Yeah. She still does something, but she knows I'm gonna keep it a little bit to keep some attention. Then I'm gonna take it off. There you go. She's just rage baiting. Yeah, like it's baiting, and then she takes it off. But after the Jewish song, that she went on this love of Ben Shapiro, that it was just I'm sorry. It was like Ben Shapiro's the GOAT of conservatives. I'm like,
yeah, he's the GOAT, all right. He's a GOAT, all right.
Matt, I can't take that. But she was like, my top 5 conservatives, Ben Shapiro. I'm like, oh man. Ben Shapiro has made so many more people conservative than anyone else. I'm like, come on.
So next week she'll be talking about converting to Judaism. Watch. I mean, it's just anything. Yes.
Can you even convert to that religion, or you have to be born?
No, I think you can
convert to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have 2 million people who subscribe to your YouTube, right? That's a big audience of people.
I'm not at 2 million yet. I'd like to be.
Right, but you have a lot of people that follow you on various social media platforms.
Yeah.
You put a video like that up, and there are going to be some impressionable young minds going, hang on, what's Pearl saying? Adolf Hitler? Not saying he's a good guy, but I want to know why. The more conspiracies theories I hear, the more I have to think about it.
But
I took that to mean that you agree with Fuentes.
Why did you cut off the end of the song? I said, but we can't even have the conversation.
What is the conversation you want to have?
Without being canceled by the left and the right.
But the
point is any speech. I think
it's not any speech. It's not any speech. What is the conversation about Hitler and conspiracy theories and the Holocaust that you want to have?
I don't want to have any conversation. My lane is feminism. That's what
you're singing about Adolf Hitler.
Can I finish?
Yeah, but you are singing about
What is this? An anti-Semitism charity has branded the song disturbing. Who cares?
Good. Great. I don't give a shit that a charity got offended. Oh, well.
Like...
Wait,
who are they donating to? Who are they
did everyone lose their mind when the History Channel made that thing? What was it called? Like Chasing Hitler, and they were in Venezuela saying, "Hey, Hitler got away at the end of the war and he ran." Did anyone lose their mind when they were looking for that and they found the U-boats and all that? Right? Because that's the claim, is that he actually got away. He didn't delete himself. No one cared because it was on the History Channel.
Right.
So. Why, I thought asking questions was
right, bro. Like,
oh, shit pisses me off.
Well, who is the anti-Semitism charity giving to? Like, who? Like, is it people who saw something anti-Semitic online? And
so this is why this is dangerous, though, and this is why Ron DeSantis. I take it right back to. I know y'all probably like, damn, she keep bringing that man up. He went all the way to Israel to sign that speech law for Florida. What are you doing? I know our politicians do things with Israel, but you're a governor of a state. And you signed a speech law for the state all the way in Israel. And
that's so the puppets know that, hey, we could trust him in the future, and we can put him in place for the presidency one day because he's on our team. That's all that shit is.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
I mean,
we got like 25 people watching right now. If y'all can hit the like button, I'd appreciate it.
I know we kill it. As soon as we started talking about Israel, it was like, oh, no.
Yeah. But what were you saying, Casey? You're about to say something?
No, it was just really it's that. But like everything, what is anti-Semitism? Like, what is considered that anymore? To me, what that would be was somebody who would say, I want to end all of those people. We disavow. We don't want to end all of those people, right? So that's what that would be to me, or just something like that. But other than that, people have a right to say what they want to say. So when you go and sign laws saying that you can't have anti-Semitic paraphernalia, intimidating people with anti-Semitic paraphernalia, that means that the next Jehovah's Witness who leaves a track on somebody's door better make sure that that person is not Jewish, because they could actually be hit with a federal offense. That's not taking it that far. That's how broad the law is that he signed. Okay, go ahead, Joel.
Okay.
So you do want to have that conversation.
I want anybody that wants to speak on social media to be able to speak about what they want to talk about,
including Holocaust
without
denial,
getting banned. Whatever they want to talk about,
including Holocaust denial.
If they want to talk about that, as long as they're not inciting violence, I think people.
Of course, they're inciting violence.
How is that?
I think that social.
Yo, he's a.
How is that inciting violence? How is that violence?
If somebody were to like question, I don't know, if slavery was real, would that be like inciting violence against black people?
No, I have to accept the fact that that's not inciting violence, right? Yeah, let me answer.
Yeah.
So ask any question, find out whatever you need to find out. Hey, guess what? You know what's even better for me? I wish people would find out that less black people were enslaved as much as they think, so we could stop this stupid connection. But that's a whole nother chat, you know? So, but people can ask whatever question they want to.
If someone said John Wilkes Booth is an American hero, is that inciting violence? No,
right.
It's just it's an interesting statement that people should look into. But
yeah,
well, let me write it down. Matt is killing.
Social media is the new town square, right? You used to be able to go and say your opinions in the town square. Now we have corporations censoring what can and cannot be said. And I think that's wrong. I think that should be illegal.
Well, let me bring in Brooke Gert.
Oh, no.
Brooke,
here we go.
I don't quite understands why.
He cut her off like Tim Pool be cutting off. He was like, let me. No, you talk about something.
I think Piers Morgan is now like content brained, where he's just like bringing on these YouTubers, which is actually cool to see, by the way. Like it seems like that's his most recurring guest now is YouTubers. But he's so like, all right, am I in a viral moment right now? And if the answer is no, he just completely cuts his guest off and moves on. Like that's all he's thinking about is the viral moment, which I respect.
I need clicks.
Yeah.
By the wording of this song, which she deleted, to be clear, so obviously realized this had not played out maybe the way she hoped. The offense is caused to the community. Why was it
you prick bastard?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on and for highlighting this issue. Not necessarily highlighting Pearl, but highlighting the issue.
Did you see the book that she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And yeah, that Jew hatred that she's trying to end is asking questions about, yeah, whatever. Not gonna say it.
How many banks do you think she's worked at?
Yo,
or owned?
Is that the worst thing to say? Right? They like, why do you? Some of them, not all of them. I know some pretty thorough ones. Won't. Why do you say things like that? That's a conspiracy. I'm like, well, give me that one. That's right. I want to think that all blacks own banks.
That's the best stereotype there is.
Right.
Imagine owning a bank. I mean, that'd be great.
Think about money. Oh, that's such a slander that you're rich.
Know.
What you pointed out is that we're really facing a crisis of societal conscience, where someone like Pearl, who engages in hate speech, and actually the irony is she's complaining about being canceled, and yet she's on your platform. She has millions of viewers on the internet and on social media, and she's complaining about being canceled.
No, she's not. She literally said that she was talking about Ye and Alex Jones and them. Like, she's not talking about herself. She's saying why can't she access this information because other people are canceled? She's not complaining because she's canceled.
And again, ask any of these idiots to actually define what hate speech is. You can't, because hate speech is no such thing. And what I hate is something that you don't hate. What I approve of is something that you may disapprove of. So what do? Now no one can speak at all? That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Is that this is what is profitable now. This clickbait, this type of racial incitement is profitable on the internet. And, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to Pearl. I don't know if she's just plain stupid or she's actually quite intelligent and knows that what she's doing is so sensational that it's going to make her a lot of money. But I want to say one thing, Pearl will disappear. She will disappear like many others before her, because
that's a harsh claim there.
Yeah, I know, right? I just peeped it. Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of a crazy statement coming from a Goldstein.
I have some friends, and I'm gonna make sure you disappear.
I would have stopped and been like, whoa, what you mean disappeared? Like, what's going on? And Pierce is like, good, make her disappear. I mean, what is going on? I'm with you, Goldstein. Don't worry about me. Right.
Well, I'm sure with her dad having as much money, he's probably got to have some type of connections or something, right?
Yeah. Not necessarily. The Kennedys had money too.
Well, yeah, but they were politically tied and prevented other people from running. Like, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is something that's just a moment in time. She's like a train wreck. It's like a car crash. You know, for example, you shouldn't be looking at it, but you can't take your eyes off it. But I want to make one more point. I think it's so important, especially on this platform. Hatred is taught. Nobody is born like this. And I talk about it a lot in my book about the dangers of hate education. And it's not something that we can debate, that we can engage in a rational argument with. You can see what her opinions are. She thinks women shouldn't vote. Women shouldn't have the right to divorce. No, I
didn't say that.
Crazy things about.
Hold on, what did she say?
Based.
Thinks women shouldn't vote. Women shouldn't have the right to divorce. She thinks that women shouldn't be able to work. She says these
I didn't say
crazy
that.
things
about
Hitler.
Mouth.
But there's no rational. Please don't interrupt. There's no rational argument with someone like this, and this is a mistake that my community.
That's what they do.
The Jewish community
That's what they do right there. You can't have conversations with anyone else. You have to completely silence them and bar them. And they did the same thing with Trump and everybody else. We don't agree with you at all in any way, shape, or form. So you can never come to any form of agreement. You can never listen to what they say. You have to completely shadow ban them into the end realm and make them go away. And that's what this woman's pushing right here. This is why they're trash, or she's a trash human being.
And that's why if came on the show once again, they would get absolutely obliterated. Even
Dude, imagine if Pearl said to her that she is an idiot or a retard or anything like that.
Or
like
you'll disappear. If she said you'll disappear, that'd be anti-Semitic.
Yeah, Miss Goldstein, you're gonna disappear by the end. Like, can you imagine what would? Holy hell!
She would just like lift up her collar and start talking into a mic, and then all of a sudden Pearl would get like lifted off the show. She'd be gone forever.
A big hook could come out.
She'll come from the ceiling and just pull her out like a.
And Pierce would be there like, I didn't say anything.
Very often that they think they can bring facts to the table, that they can debate somebody like Pearl, and it's, you're going to get somewhere. You're not going to get anywhere. You're going to get somewhere only by shedding the light on this type of bigotry to expose someone like her.
Let me just
do a crazy person that she is.
All right, bro. Let me go back to Pearl. Let me just offer you some advice, right? Because I don't think you're stupid. And in the 2 appearances you've made previously on this program, I thought it was interesting. It was controversial in some ways, but actually a lot of people would have agreed with some of the things he was saying. There's no question about that. But you seem to know where the line was. Someone like Nick Fuentes doesn't know where the line is. Someone like Kanye West, who I interviewed after he went on some weird anti-Semitic trope nonsense. Kanye's been wiped out by what he did, or what he said about the Jewish people, because there are certain things where I am absolutely in support of the concept of free speech, right? But you can't go around telling Jewish people the Holocaust didn't happen as Fuentes. And people like, Fuentes does say things like that.
But I'm not him. So you're bringing me up. So it's like,
no, but when you sing a song,
right,
and you talk about
who
Hitler.
Determines what the line is, Pierce?
Well, I'm asking
who determines? Do you get to determine it?
No,
you get to determine
I'm asking you
who gets to determine what the line is?
I'm asking you to work out in your head.
I'm saying
you're not a stupid person.
The line.
When you say, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why.
Yeah, he's mansplaining
when you talk about the more conspiracy theories.
Apparently, the line is whenever you talk shit about people who own all of the companies that can cancel you.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? So she did ask a valid question. All right, so where's the line, right? When you know the line, I can't tell you, I can't say these things out loud, right? Because it's hush hush. But you know what you can and can't talk about. It's like that's why I want to talk about it, because I can't talk about it. That's the point.
And that's the part that pisses me off. It's like, stop calling me crazy. I'm pointing out something. And in real time, Ms. Goldstein is giving me an example of what I'm pointing out. by telling me I'm going to disappear for pointing it out.
Yeah.
But then you say it doesn't exist. This isn't fair.
You know, it's wild. It's such a basic concept, especially older people who have had kids. It's like, if you tell, like, if a kid asks about like drugs or cigarettes or something, and you just say, like, you know, you try to keep them away from it as much as possible. You never explain to them about the cigarettes or the drugs. You're just like, oh yeah, that's bad. That's like the worst possible thing you could ever do with your life. Eventually they're going to do it, and they're probably going to get addicted to it. They're probably going to go like head first into it. But if you actually explain it to them, and most parents know this, you actually explain to them like why it's bad and everything, then they probably won't do it. But the same thing's happening with all these talking points. They're just like, oh no, you can't say that, and we're not going to tell you why. You just can't do it, or you're going to get banned off everything. Eventually, we're all going to dive headfirst into these topics, and we're all going to know more about them than you do.
Yes, because it makes it now makes it tempting. You know, like, what do you mean I can't? Now I want to do it.
We're seeing this so often now with like Sound of Freedom. Like they were saying, don't watch this movie. It's right-wing QAnon conspiracy. Now I got people texting me like that I would never expect to see a Sound of Freedom, a movie like that. And they're like, yeah, me and my girlfriend are going to watch Sound of Freedom. I'm like, what? And it's all because like they're seeing the shit on TikTok.
Yeah,
you know, that's
and you have the mainstream media telling you, don't watch this. This is right-wing propaganda, and that's what we have been. They have literally backfired. All this is backfired, and they have trained the public that if the masses, the people that are controlling media, telling you to do one thing, do the exact opposite. We just saw about we talked about the alien stuff yesterday. Right? Everyone's like, okay, yeah. What are you hiding? We don't even care anymore, right? Because it's like, all right, well, what are you avoiding by telling us this? There's people now that have believed in aliens their whole life, and now that the mainstream media is like, that shit must be fake.
Yeah,
you saw that meme where it was like, I want to believe in aliens so bad, but the government told me they're real, so I can't.
Exactly.
That's what it's like, man. You can't believe anything these people say
because they don't care. Like, only to keep their own narrative, they'll say whatever, or they'll tell you not to look at this because it's bad for you, or we have to save you from this when the thing is not even a threat. You know, I mean, insane, bro. It just. Shout out to Twigs. He said Pierce was dead naming Ye.
Yeah. He don't play about that either, dude. When people call him Kanye, he's like, it's Ye, like every single time.
Yeah.
About in my ear, the more I'm like, well, that's interesting. I'm just like agog that even now you don't seem to really grasp why singing that and releasing it to millions of people is incredibly offensive to Jewish people.
How?
I think at the end of the day, Pierce, I don't think it's for you to determine what speech should be allowed and not allowed.
What about you determining? Why did you delete it?
Why did I delete it?
Yeah.
Because it was just a headache, Pierce.
Because you knew it was wrong?
I just
and
think
that's why you don't bend the knee.
It's not the hill I'm trying to die on.
Right, but why did you choose that hill to die on?
I didn't choose this hill to die on.
You did. You released the video.
I also released 10 different videos about
but they're not all basically.
topics.
But they're not talking about Adolf Hitler, are they?
Are we not allowed to talk about him?
You can talk about Hitler right to the point you say the more conspiracy theories I hear about him.
Look, I think that anyone should be allowed to speak about any conspiracy theory on social media. That is my point. It's not about Hitler. It's not.
If
about
you really
the
believe what
Holocaust.
you did wasn't wrong, you wouldn't have deleted it.
Oh, wow.
And that's why, like I said, you
Don't you
don't bend the fucking knee. You can't do it because they use it against you, and then you're admitting fault by doing it. If you're gonna, just like Mr. Nick, you just commit full 100. You just put your foot to the pedal and say, "Yep, I did it. Kiss my ass." That's why. And what are they gonna say? Just like we saw with
Nick. Have a reason to do that. There has to be a deeper meaning behind what you're saying. Whereas, you know, with Pearl, it's just simply what can give me the most clicks. And, you know, there's no actual.
She would get more respect if she just stuck to her guns.
Yeah,
and
she's not in it for the respect. She's in it for the money, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
She wanted to be.
It's gonna make her lose money though a little bit if you think about. I mean, because like now you look crazy. I don't know, like.
Well, you look. It's weak.
You look hormonal.
Yeah. She's weak, she's sad, and people now know. I mean, I think a lot of people saw through it already, but now for sure, it's like, well, you have no backbone, you have no, and everyone's tired of fence sitters. All right, we've been dealing. That's what the whole mainstream media has been for a very long time. That's what a lot of our politicians are. Right, like they say one thing, then they do another. People are tired of broken promises and fence sitting. They want someone like, if you say this, you better stick to your damn guns. If you change up, if you switch it up, you're gone. And you're not getting a second chance.
Exactly. And she's there, like she's half doing it. She's like, like, oh, she let that lady run up on her like that. There's no way I would have been like, we're gonna stop right here.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like,
I wouldn't have let her just keep rambling like that. Like,
I would have enjoyed it just to let her think that she was trying to like catch me. Like, but I bet this would be the same person. And again, like I said about the Byron Donalds thing, it could be a nuanced conversation, but I bet you that Pierce Morgan would say, or that lady would say, well, the slaves did benefit from slavery, right? And you're crazy for not thinking right? So, okay, that's your opinion on it. And I have no problem with that, right? So why is it that if I want to know more about this, quote, villain, so we could see maybe, hey, just know more, maybe we could catch something for the next one, right? Now I'm pretending a little bit, right? What's the problem? Now all of a sudden I hate people because of it. You cannot do that to people. You can't do it. And I've said this actually on my channel before. This was a while ago when he went to Donald Trump's for dinner, him and Ye, and everybody was like, oh, blah, 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 whatever. And I made an episode. I'm like, first of all, we have too much going on in this country to worry about who Donald Trump is eating turkey or pancakes with. That's number one. Number two, who cares? He's the president of the United States. He could sit down with whoever. Like, why is it everything has to be about this? Why can't we talk about a certain thing or anything without being labeled? And if I don't take on labels, period, you will never catch me using the word misogynistic. Not that it doesn't exist. I'm not using it. I don't like labeling people because I can't prove that label on that person, right? I can't prove what's in the person's heart. So I don't even do it. I don't even call Joe Biden a racist. Some of his actions are racist actions, right? But I don't label a person, and I'm not dead in the conversation. I've gotten to that point. So I would expect for other Americans, because we're supposed to be Americans first, to get to that point.
Well, and their thought process and everything is basically saying, I mean, that basically eliminates any type of negotiation with your enemies in any way whatsoever, right? So two countries are at war. You can't negotiate. You can't talk to that person and negotiate and try to end a war. So right. Because, oh, well, they're the bad guy. You can't talk to them. You can't deal with them. No, that's not how things work. That works in, I mean, how many businesses hate each other, but they have to cooperate and speak and talk about it and come to some type of agreement because it's business? Or, I mean, you see that all the time in any way, shape, like it's insanity. But the left doesn't even realize that they do this. They don't even realize, like what she was saying, doesn't even realize you can't engage in these people. You can't talk like that. She was just going on and on. It's like, yeah, you can't. Who did she hurt by or anyone? Who do you actually physically hurt by speaking the name of that person?
Exactly.
Like that's insanity that you can't even talk about a historical topic and a very big situation that happened in human history. We can't discuss it. There's something wrong with that.
Especially the whole war itself. I'm just now learning that like Russia or the Soviet, whatever, really played a huge part in that war. And in fact, like should have been the heroes, considered the hero. Like I was taught that we were, but like their position really gets minimized in that war. Why don't I know that? Why didn't I get taught that in school? Like what's going on?
General Patton had a very famous quote, and General Patton is a very famous general. Happened, through World War II, led a lot of all the armored division, right, all through Africa and into Europe and everything. Towards the end of the war, at the very end, very famous quote basically said, "We fought the wrong army." He said, "We fought next to the wrong army. We should have been fighting the Soviets the whole time."
Wow.
Look into it. And that's the thing. I just recently found that out, not probably the last year. And I'm like, that's really interesting. Why?
Yeah.
And you look into it and you realize why. And Patton, he kind of died under weird circumstances too. But
it's always a weird circumstance,
Yeah, a random car accident.
Did we lose Justin? Are we still
I don't know. He went dark for a second, but
Okay, so guys, there's 31 people in the chat. First of all, shout out to everybody watching. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. If y'all could please hit the like button. And if you have not subscribed yet to the channel, please hit subscribe. That's how I be sounding on my channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm really appreciating the engagement, everything, man. This is very chill. This is what's up.
Oh, there he is. But yeah, this is just, and I'm not a fan of Pearl at all. Like I said, if she had convictions and stood behind what she said and rebutted exactly, like, no, I'll say whatever I want, how I want, and did all that stuff, man, they probably wouldn't have even aired this if she stood up to it, because they expected her to bend and buckle and backpedal and all that, because if, like I said, that's why they don't put people like Jones, or they don't put Nick on anything.
Yes,
because he will come back and say, all right, well, here's why. Right. And I put a thing in private chat that Justin can bring up here shortly, and it's more about they're talking about the war, like the Ukrainian war, and this he's another YouTuber. I think Justin did a video on this or brought this up.
You did do a video on Jackson Hinkle, who had me dying because he responded to Pearly.
Yeah.
And I was rolling when I saw the response.
I'm fighting with this dog. She's unplugging my camera.
Oh, that's right. I have to watch this. He did debate. Is that what's happening? Oh, she's such a cutie, your dog. She's such a good, innocent dog.
Oh, yeah, cutie to everybody else and demon to me. But yeah, let's watch this Jackson Hinkle clip.
If you're so outraged over the atrocities allegedly of Putin in Ukraine and all these Ukrainians that have been killed, and you tweet about it nonstop, why did you not tweet once about the atrocities that were perpetrated by the Ukrainian government from 2014 to 2022 against those ethnic Russians in the Donbass?
Well, yeah, Constantine.
Well, my family are actually largely ethnic Russian.
If you're so out.
Oh, was that the whole thing?
Dude, I gotta go.
No, you're fine. I thought there was another video, but it was, he literally just wiped the floor with Morgan on the Ukraine, on the facts in the Ukraine and what's going on.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know why Pierce Morgan would have Jackson Hinkle on. I don't know why people underestimate certain people. Jackson Hinkle has been on top of this war since it started. Jackson Hinkle, for him being like, I'm sorry, I know you were talking. I just kind of took over.
No, you're good. You're good.
This is like one of the first 3 channels that I watched for geopolitical international news was Jackson Hinkle. It first started with Jimmy Dore, who introduced me to Jackson Hinkle, who ended up introducing me to the Duran. Okay. Mm-hmm. Jackson Hinkle knows his stuff even before the war. When I was listening to his thought process on other countries and how they operate, I said, how old is this kid? How does he know all this stuff? I'm like, wow. I'm like, yo, he's really good. So Pierce was tripping when he brought him on. Because you weren't going to win any debate with Jack, but go ahead.
No, and the reason why, and I'll tell you, look at what it says in the headline there. Pro-Putin YouTuber has amassed when they see YouTuber, they don't take YouTubers seriously. They take them like they're a joke. They don't take, and they're trying to ridicule and discredit YouTubers in mainstream media to say, don't listen to these people, don't believe these people. But then when they get someone like this that can actually spit facts and know what they're doing, they immediately, thanks for coming on. We greatly appreciate it. Pearl, they'll wipe the floor with because she's a retard. But this one who actually knows what he's talking about and can come back with facts, he just sits there in silence and goes, oh, okay, yep. All right, well, we got to cut to commercial break now. And that's what I personally think the reason why shows like this are bringing in more YouTubers, and because they're trying to slowly push either mainstream people away from YouTube because they know a lot of people are going to YouTube for information now, and maybe push YouTube to say, hey, you got to start cracking down on this stuff and start eliminating these channels, which we do see more and more censorship as things go forward. So,
yes, we do. And well, they better vet the people they're bringing on if they're trying to make YouTube look bad, because Jackson was not the one that was ever going to make YouTube look bad.
A lot of people say that Jackson Hinkle's like bought out by Russia. That's it's a common talking point because he has like a Russian girlfriend or something. I don't even know.
He does have a Russian girlfriend. And guess what? I watch his show. He's a young man, like he's like 20 something. He's healthy, whatever. So he likes the culture over there, Christian, like for the mainstream most part, Christian, mostly kind of healthy, you know, and like speaking against, I mean, when you hear Putin talk, they're gonna say, "Now I'm a Putin." I've been called a Putin stooge before, and like a Putin, like a spy or something. I'm like, God, and I have a 9-to-5. That what kind of broke spy am I? Like, but anyway, but when Vladimir Putin talks and makes speeches, first of all, like he stands correct, and he's saying things like, sadly, he's talking about the West. He's like, yo, they have Satanist behavior. You know, they believe in this man can be women, women can't be women, you know, man stuff. And we don't want these. He's like, you know, they do that over there and that's their business, but you're not going to push it over here. So how do you think like a young man is going to look at an older man like that and be like, yo, like, I like his style. And the fact of all the lies they tell, yo, man, there's been so many lies told about Russia. It is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah.
And then when they bring up the facts about the Ukraine and how a lot of them are, I mean, they don't want to talk about that German painter, but a lot of those Ukrainian soldiers and a lot of those divisions, you know,
they were Yahtzees. They
yeah,
love to kill
they have the marks, they have everything.
Yes.
They're painted on their tanks. They have flags draped on their tanks and you could see it's all over Twitter. But you won't see that on mainstream media. But again, you can't talk about that. You can't mention that because that's the thing. It's all these labels. If you say anything and you question the mainstream narrative, oh, you're a pro Putin, whatever the case may be. And it's like, no, it's just actual factual things. Where else have we poured this much money into any country whatsoever? And they say, well, it's just we have to suppress Putin. No, we're defending we're defending their investments and the corruptness that our politicians have invested in for a very long time. That's all we're trying to protect is them.
I mean, honest to God, what goes on in Ukraine, allegedly, in my opinion, though I have done videos on it, it's more than people understand. Like it is a religion. That's why when I hear like, oh, the war might stop, I'm like, no, I don't think you understand the kneeling, the worshiping at the altar. Okay. A lot of things are happening in Ukraine. Ukraine has been, it's a shame because a lot of those Ukrainians too, they call themselves Russian, but they're not allowed to.
Yeah, I know.
I know Ukrainians in America who'll be like, we're Russian. Like that's, any honest person will say it, right? But, you know, God forbid you say that. It's like, oh, you know, you're the bad guy. Or if you even, and here we go again with the right. I had to listen to General Keith Kellogg on the conservative morning radio telling people, well, Putin's running out of ammunition. I'm like, yo, bro, you cannot be telling the same lies like CNN, bro. This is supposed to be the conservative radio station. I'm supposed to get a little something different here. And you just told me what CNN tells everybody else. And guess what? That's a lie. That is an absolute.
Well, you are not their target audience. Anyone who does research on their own and actually looks up and navigates the internet is not their target audience. They're looking to the 60-year-old white dude who doesn't pay attention, just only watches Fox News and mainstream media. Yeah, their Russians are running out of ammunition. I'm sure. Yeah, sure they are. Okay. Yeah.
They only make ammunition in their own place. All right, but
they're mining the shit out of them and blowing them up to pieces. And the Ukrainians don't even have enough people to hold a line anymore.
Okay.
It's awful. It's terrible. I don't wish it on anybody, but I mean,
it is sad. It's bloodshed for no reason.
And you could see the videos of them, you know, like quitting at mass. There's whole battalions like putting their hands up, and they just captured a French tank. I just saw that video the other day with it. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff.
I mean, the Leopard tanks that was supposed to be so amazing, they blow them to bits in seconds.
Yeah.
It's just like, just end it.
Well, remember, a lot of these modern tanks have not had to come up against other modern tanks. They haven't had to. Like, everything has just been what's going on in Afghanistan the past 22 years.
Yeah.
And their tanks, if they had any, were fucking garbage. If they had any. And then everything else was just by IEDs. There's just roadside bombs. It blew them up from beneath. That was it. They never took, or RPGs, shit like that. So
it's crazy.
All right, I want to finish this Pearl video now.
Yeah.
Don't get a dog. Anybody who's thinking about it, don't do it. Just don't.
I agree with Pearl.
Go on, bro.
if I may just say one thing, as an attorney, I have to say that I do agree with her that I am a free speech purist. I think that even bigotry should be able to be spoken in the public sphere. But the problem of cancel culture is not against anti-Jewish speech. I think that's very clear. We see the scourge of anti-Semitism and Jew hatred rising on the internet. The problem is that there's no consequences for it. And the way that...
What?
It becomes too much, right?
Dude, hold on. We got to rewind that real quick.
That's very clear. We see the scourge of anti-Semitism and Jew hatred rising.
So the reason why it's rising is because you won't let people speak about these things. Like every time they speak about the Jays, they get banned off everything. So obviously it becomes like you start to get, resentment for that. It becomes a little bit infuriating. So yeah, people are starting to dislike that group of people because it seems like they're doing bad things to people who question anything about them. So that's point number one.
On the internet. The problem is that there's no consequences for it, and the way that
there is the worst consequences for it.
Dog. You can't even I know because it's just too much.
It's ridiculous that you even be able to say that.
I mean, do we not see Chase Bank and other banks just completely destroying people's bank accounts for just wiping them out, taking all their stuff? Like, sorry, we're not going to tell you why, but your bank accounts are gone. And why? Yeah. How would that happen? What would bank accounts have anything to do with it? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even just banks, though. Like, there's no fly listed. They're taking off Uber. Like, it's just, they try to take them off the map.
Right. Can they even DoorDash? I mean,
probably not. But, like, it's, for certain things that you'll say, if you say some racist things about, black people, Mexicans, whatever, you might get banned off YouTube, and that sucks. Getting banned off Twitter, getting banned off social media. You know what's way worse? Getting banned off those things, plus getting debanked, no fly listed, taken off Uber, everything. Yeah. So when you say that there's no consequences for it, there's consequences way worse than doing anything else in the entire world, other than like actually committing a crime and going to jail. But and it's crazy because you get those consequences without even actually doing anything. By simply asking a question, you get that, like by asking the JQ, you get that result. So they say that's just such nonsense.
Well, yeah, and the point is, this is propaganda for the average person who doesn't know this stuff because this stuff isn't reported widespread. So they're like, yeah, we need to do something. There need to be more consequence. That's all this is. It's a rally cry.
And she's there after she said, "You're gonna end." But I love free speech when there's no consequences.
Yeah.
End her now. Go ahead.
Yeah.
How are there no consequences for it?
Canceling is they're going after pro-Jewish speech. They're going after pro-Israel speech. I can't tell you how many times I'm contacted by people and often my own clients who are shut down on social media for saying anything positive about Jewish people, about Judaism, or about Israel. Yet these social media companies are unequally applying their own standards. And, while they're, for example, shutting down COVID deniers, they are allowing Holocaust denial speech. They are allowing people like Pearl to spew her hatred. So if we are really free speech purists, and that's what we are saying that companies should do, they should allow all speech.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, I would just say this to you, Pearl.
Unless it's incitement to immediate violence.
Right. I would say this to you, Pearl.
So we agree.
No, Pearl, I would say this to you in conclusion.
We're all on the same team now.
In conclusion, look, you deleted this. You really felt bad about what you'd put up, or you wouldn't have deleted it. You accept that?
No.
You don't accept it?
I just, it's kind of a headache. I was like, well, it just seems like a lot of headache to me.
Right. Or did you realize actually in that moment, from the visceral reaction from the Jewish community, you crossed a line that you yourself should have worked out was there?
Look, at the end of the day, Pierce, the song was about freedom of speech. It wasn't one way or the other. The song was about why can't we have these conversations on social media, and why do I keep getting
about why Hitler may be a good guy,
and why do I keep seeing people get banned on social media? My point is, I don't think there should be a line unless you're inciting violence.
Here's a line.
Pierce, would we agree on that?
Listen,
yes or no? Yes or no? Would we agree?
Here's my point.
No. No, yes,
You haven't
no.
answered my question.
Okay.
I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. I want to know why what?
We can't have the conversation without being canceled by the left and the right. I just don't understand why you guys edit. You guys cut out the end of the song. You did 75. Okay.
The conversation about whether Hitler was a good guy. You want to have that conversation?
I think that
he murdered 12 million people, including 6 million.
Okay.
Jewish people.
I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
My whole point is we should be able to have that conversation.
Whether he's a good guy.
Yes, because it causes more commotion when you're starting to censor people.
I don't agree.
Like, I think that's wrong. I think
don't
it's
agree.
wrong to censor anybody.
Well, you know what? You can have that conversation. You had that conversation. You posted it. You haven't been cancelled. I've had you on the show because I thought you might, with time, to think about this, regret what you did, because you can. Clear, you're not stupid. You do understand the offense it caused, and wanting to have the right to debate whether Hitler's a good guy is just cretinous.
No, I want anybody to be able to speak on any platform. That was the point of the song.
All right, let's leave it.
Can
there.
I point
she has
out
something
a
else to say.
nuance here?
I've got Brooke. I'm sorry. I'm afraid we've run out of time. But thank you.
He's
We appreciate it.
He's like, okay, I'll have your checking account by the end of this segment.
Did you see that? She's like, okay.
Yeah. Your routing number's gone.
Noted.
Add them on, okay.
But you know what this is? It's the same thing that was happening with the Andrew Tate stuff. People want to platform him and Pearl and these ideas that Pearl is talking about here because it gets a lot of clicks. But what Pierce does is he'll platform someone like Andrew Tate because he wants the clicks, but also push back on literally everything that he says just because he doesn't want to get canceled. The reason why he's able to say all of these words, like the Yahtzee word, like the mustache man word, and like he doesn't have to make up pseudonyms like we do, is because he's pushing back and disagreeing with everything that Pearl is saying. So he's fine. So that he's able to put that in the title. He's able to get the clicks off it, get the views off it without getting banned. And that's all this is. Like, that's all that this is about.
Well,
Did y'all have any other topics other than this though? Let's go through the chat.
You bring up Andrew Tate real quick. I think we should bring him up a little bit. Because Candace Owens, she interviewed him, and I have not watched the interview, but there's this whole thing on Twitter. I'm sure, you know, if anybody finds any tweet about Andrew Tate, and where people keep sharing, people keep sharing his old footage of talking about all the stuff that he did and all the stuff, right? And I'm seeing men share this stuff and like, oh, he's a monster, and I'm like, oh man, I suggest you not go that route. The only thing I'm gonna say is this: first of all, when you hear him being braggadocious and like talking about all that stuff, like for me, I don't really like a man who like talks about everything that he does. Because I'm like, you're a little too hype, but that's just as far as it goes for me. But saying that he's a monster and it's wrong what he did, and I this is a weird take, but it's really not. You know, women, we know what we're getting ourselves into. We do. We know what we're getting ourselves into. They are trying to put this man away, and they're saying it's because of, you know, because he manipulated women and got them to, you know, go on camera. And look, he said he did it, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's happened since the beginning of time. Even with, you know, obviously, even when cameras weren't around, broads always did dumb stuff for a guy that they like. I mean, that's just simply not, you know, anything new. But the fact that they're trying to make it an offense, I'm telling you, men need to stop posting about. If you don't like what he did, that's fine. You don't have to like how he acts. You don't. But I don't think that men should be all on the, well, he's a monster anyway, because they're going to come after you. They're saying that he broke hearts, like, I can tell you that that's probably happened to many, many, many women, especially in our early 20s, you know.
Yeah.
So
and a woman would never get indicted for the same thing. That, like, if a woman tricked a bunch of men into making money for them because of, you know, they fell in love, this would never go the other way. They would never get indicted for it.
Not this hard. I mean, remember Cardi B? She was,
I was
like,
gonna just bring that up.
And she was like, "Yeah, I used to get them dosed up, and I was
we used to drug them up all the time and steal their shit, and everyone's just like, yes, girl power, yes, queen,
WAP,
yeah,
WAP, you know." So these, you know, and then it's like this whole shame, like, oh, this is your role model. This is your, listen. I don't judge. It is weird saying like, I just feel like, because he's saying to Candace though, like, you know, I'm embarrassed about a little bit. Yeah, like, you know, people grow. I'm not making him out to be an angel, but I'm just saying it's a nuanced conversation. It can be. It can be. People know what they're getting themselves into. Women know what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah, I think he's innocent and everything, and I hope he doesn't have to serve any more jail time than he already has. The when I kind of lost faith in Andrew Tate was whenever he got canceled, and his first Rumble video was like my 10 rules for life or whatever, and one of them was like number 5, never hit a woman. I was like, oh my god, dude, like what are you? He's just trying so hard to get back into the mainstream. Like, I feel like he went soft a little bit once he got canceled.
That, and I don't know. I think his religion. I'm not a Muslim. I'm Christian, right? And so, but I know Muslims, and the way he should be operating right now, there should be a lot of praying going on and self-reflection. So
yeah,
I don't know.
They pray like 7 times a day or something right there. Like
right, it's 5. They make 5 prayers, and there should be, I mean, a lot of reflection going on his part, because people think Islam says, oh, you could treat a woman however you want and have 17 wives. No, that's not what it says. It says you can have the 17 wives, but they all must be treated equally, and you know, all of that. So I think there might be some self-reflection going on, but whatever's whatever. Like I said, I didn't like his hype talk, but it's still not a crime. It's still, he should have never been detained for 6 months for treating women like trash. Who knew they were being treated? I'm just saying.
Yeah, Islam is kind of like a ethnic shield nowadays too. Like if you attack anybody who's like Islamic, the whole tribe will come after you. So it's, you know, converting to Islam is very attractive for that reason. I think he grew up Christian. Pretty sure his brother still is Christian.
Well,
go ahead, Matt.
Oh, no, real quick. I remember seeing something about it was some school board or some area where it was very more of a Muslim community, and they were protesting the LGBT stuff in schools. And they somehow said that the right wing white supremacists somehow infiltrated, and it was like confused, like made them think this stuff. It's like, of course, it's not their religion. No. It was the white supremacists that did. It's always someone else. So that's the chess piece, right? Because you know, all these protected classes, right? You have like BLM, and you can't say anything about Muslims, and you can't say anything about the Weinsteins of the world. So it's like whenever they battle each other, they always got to like that play. All right, we got to move this piece here and blame it, and it's very funny.
Put a white man somewhere and blame it on
the
him.
mental, yeah. Or you'll see the crimes where people actually do like commit crimes, and they're like dark skin, and they say white male, like on the card.
Yeah, I've seen that. Isn't that sick? That's really sick. And it's always that. Or if somebody hears something like me talking, they'll be like, oh, well, she's just a mouthpiece for white supremacy, or you know, so it's always like, and I'm over here like, y'all are like obsessed with white people, because like, what are you saying? And always goes back to that. Well, white people. It's like, whoa, like, dude, like, oh, my toaster broke today. White supremacy. Whoa, calm down. It's not that. Wow, just a toaster. But to that point about the Islam thing or whatever, the left keeps trying to hold on to Muslims. Muslims are not leftists. They're not leftists. So that's why they do the whole white supremacy, or it's because that's why they said that about LGBT. We know what happens in the Middle East with LGBT. Okay. So like, I don't know why this is all of a sudden a confusion. Like,
yeah. Yeah. By the way, if you could drop Casey's link in there too, that'd be good.
I did, but it won't.
It won't.
I did hers before mine. Let's see. Try it again.
They don't want to see Casey win.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all can go subscribe to Matt and go subscribe to Casey. Matt does more like pop culture stuff. He mixes in the culture war stuff like we do as well. So if you like movies and TV, go check out Matt. And then Casey does more like political stuff as well. We're not done here. We're not done.
Yeah, we're still rolling.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see if I can find my y'all. You know,
I also had another video that I wanted to react to, not the whole thing, but I wanted to bring this up. And then whatever topics y'all have after that, we could go into.
Yeah, see, the full link for some reason won't let me send for hers. Let me send mine, but it won't let me send hers.
In here?
Yeah.
I probably did something wrong, but I'm gonna just put in a video. But all right, go.
Okay.
It's probably my
I didn't want to derail. Sorry.
All right, let me bring up this video. Let's see. See, I just wanted to watch this part. Some Sunny Faz. I was talking about it on Casey's stream. I think I don't know when it was. Maybe a few days ago. But it's just this one part. This guy infiltrated a pride event that was on an island. So they wanted to be like super far away from everybody. And they had like drag queens doing performances, and they were calling up like members of the crowd, but they were singling out like children on purpose. Like they were trying to get the children up there. And at one point they had like a little girl twerking on stage and stuff. I'm not talking like Ice Spice 16-year-old twerking. I'm talking like 9-year-old twerking on stage. It was pretty disgusting. God. But this one part in this video really disturbed me the most. Y'all still trying to figure out the link?
And I'm watching it too.
No, I'm watching.
Oh, okay. All right, let's watch this thing.
It's just basic respect. Cultures all around the world have this basic rule. It's not an exception.
Look at this guy's shirt.
Why Satan?
Because Satan's awesome.
Satan's awesome?
Yeah.
Are you religious at all?
I am, but I'm not a Satanist. Yeah. I have my own strange off-the-wall religion thing, but I'm not pushing an agenda here. This is just supposed to be fun and funny and all that. Since you're talking to a guy who's a religious studies nerd, I have like multiple degrees in religious studies. I'll tell you that Satan is oftentimes a symbol, things on the edge or things on the outside, groups of people or individuals who have legitimate things to do, legitimate things to say, legitimate options, legitimate things that they want to do with their lives, but are often rejected by the mainstream, but they're still legitimate. That's kind of what that means for me.
Okay, so like the media portrays marginalized groups as satanic.
No. This is not portray people as being satanic. It's just that Satan is a symbol of those folks who are on the edge. And some of those folks embrace that symbolism.
One of the biggest problems I've noticed the conservatives have with the whole movement is about showing it to kids. That's what I've seen on social media a lot. Mm-hmm. What do you think of that?
Showing what to kids exactly?
Like
Jesus, dude.
Kids at drag shows, for example, or teaching LGBTQ stuff in school. What do you think of all of that? Should it be taught more or taught less?
Kids being exposed to these things in public in a safe environment and learning about them in school. That's what school is for, and that's what the public arena is. This isn't dangerous. None of this is dangerous. Nothing like this is a threat. This would be like saying other religious groups are automatically a threat, like saying Muslims are a threat because they're Muslim. They're not. It's just another alternative. It's just another way that people
No, you know why this is evil is because to acknowledge that Satan exists means that you also know that God exists, and you chose the evil path on purpose. Like you chose the evil, you chose to worship the evil instead of the good on purpose. That's why this is evil, because you're doing that on purpose. By the way, here's Casey's link.
Yeah, I noticed you put it on. Thank you.
Yeah, there's Casey's link. So everybody go sub to Casey as well. And if y'all could like the video, I'd appreciate that as well. We're doing streams here every single week, every single Friday. So I'll make sure y'all stick around for next week too. We're not done, but did y'all have any early thoughts on this right here?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on it. I mean, like, but like to even try to make it like, no, I'm just doing this for fun. First of all, stop lying. No, you're not. You believe in whatever this is. What is it? On the edge, it's everything outside of God, right? Because y'all don't like self-accountability. So then you try to make Satan look acceptable and accepting, right? Because the devil's not gonna come like a dragon. So he'll always come as a piece of cake or your friend, a teddy bear, right? And that's what this guy is promoting. That's what he's yeah, I noticed that too. Twigs on the training horns. Yeah. On the training horns.
Yeah, all kind of training horns.
Training horns. But I mean, and then it's dangerous because you want to lead people down a path of confusion, chaos, and darkness. Darkness in the sense of, of not knowing themselves and just not even trying to be better people living to their full potential, at least trying.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't just say Satan. It says Satan respects pronouns. So they're trying to get everybody who is on that side of things to go over to Satan. It is just straight up evil. There's no other way to describe it. It gets worse though. It gets a lot worse.
I'm pretty sure that designer of that shirt was the person who was selling stuff in Target. I remember. Really? I'm pretty sure that was one of. I don't think that shirt was actually in Target, but I remember seeing an article because I covered that, and that same designer that was pushing some of that stuff was because remember one of them was a Satanist. And that was one of the shirts that they sold on their own website. So it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, these people are absolutely garbage. And remember, they're also selling something now because they know they're in front of the camera, right? So he's not going to completely come out and say exactly how he feels about it. He's trying to sell it to where it's like, oh, this is believable, and I can see where this person's coming from. No, dude, this is a PDF file if I ever seen one.
This is his kid right here, by the way, in the left side of the screen with a blurred face. Just wait, it gets a whole lot worse.
Think and live and be. And LGBTQ folks are the same thing. And if this fits who you are as an individual, whether you're Muslim, Satanist, LGBTQ, it doesn't matter, because there's something dangerous there. It's good for people to feel that they should be accepted and have a path forward for them that works for them. That's what's important. So yes, it should be in the public.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think his shirt means that he is Satan, and that he respects his son's pronouns, because his son is trans. His name is Alex, and I think because he is Satan, it means he respects pronouns.
Don't say that out loud, son.
Yeah.
Come on, Satan. Let's go on a walk.
So he was trying to say that whole time, like, no, like we don't like celebrate Satan. It's all these other things. Then his son just pretty much outs him and says, he is Satan, and that means he respects my pronoun. Like, Jesus, man.
And the dad is like, no, I'm not saying that. And after he was saying it all
like,
day in the hospital.
on the Satan. Not here.
Right. And then he's like, I'm gonna beat his ass. But anyway, and then you hear this child, God, how can you take, what is it, man? Like, how can you take a kid and derail him like that? Yo, like, and he respects his son's pronouns. You see how these kids really don't, you see how this is given to this child? Because
he doesn't have a chance.
But think about it. If they felt it, like I'm told that these kids know that they're in the wrong body. He called himself his father's son. So why is he talking about his pronoun? You see what I mean? He doesn't stick with the speech because it's not inside of him. They're telling him you're binary or whatever,
In reality, this may be controversial, but not everything is going to be acceptable in life. We can't accept everything. That thought process of where we need to accept everyone, that's bullshit.
Yes.
There's a line. There's a clear-cut line. I will never accept a map or a PDF file and say that that's No, that is not that's acceptable for one thing. Maybe some type of camp. Other than that,
right?
Or a wall. But that's it.
Yeah. Or a lot of other, but not everything is acceptable. No.
All right.
Is there more or?
No, well, I mean, it's a 25-minute video. That's really the only part that I wanted to show you.
Right.
Did y'all have any other topics you wanted to talk about?
Listen, I'm going to bring this topic up. This is and it's a quick one, so it's not going to last forever. Because really, I don't know why I'm bringing this to y'all, because it's almost like a joke.
Whose ring is that? Whose ring is that?
Sorry, y'all. I know. I'm so sorry. It's all good. I'm embarrassed. But I'm watching my nieces and nephews, and I'm at their house. So that's it. And every time you move your neck, the thing goes off. So I just sent you the video. It's so embarrassing. And this particular artist, I don't know. I don't think we should have freed her. I just want to share it real quick.
Oh no.
I mean, just random trash. What is going on?
Can we show this?
Don't try to bring it down a little bit where maybe you should just it's not working, but you don't show her. All right, just not even the whole thing. Turn it around though, just.
What do you mean?
Let's not have the crack on and
just play it to where her
Don't put the music on though, because I don't want to be copyrighted. I don't know what she's dancing to, and I'd be damned if we get copyrighted.
Whatever. It's all right. It's a
not for Britney Spears.
There's YouTubers that stream with less clothes than this on. So
I know. Yeah, people share this on. What is happening? What?
Yeah.
This is what happens when you're in that that world for this long, and then you get kicked out. She was on top, she crashed, and now she's now
and everybody was doing that whole free Britney from her conservatorship, and I'm like, you see why y'all got involved in something you didn't know anything about? This girl is off her meds. And now look, this is a daily thing that she does. Dang, man, I grew up on Britney Spears, man. I grew up on Britney Spears, but her music was like the ish back in my day.
It was her and Christina Aguilera going back and forth. That was the Gretalicious.
Get it, girl. Right. And her eyes are just,
she looks like a meth head for sure.
Balance is Yes, like what is going on?
It's like she's relapsing and remembering all these old concerts that she used to be in, and she's just like, having these traumatic things. But
is it possible to get an anti-boner?
Like it is, I mean, insane. But yeah, I just wanted to just bring that up. I mean, it's just sad. Like what? Dang. They should have not taken her out of that conservatorship. When they had her under control, they knew what they had to keep under control. Real quick, y'all. I don't know if y'all remember that MTV Music Video Awards, where I think that was the same year when Kanye told Taylor that Beyonce deserved the award. But anyway,
oh God,
Britney came out dancing and she was like all over the place and everything. But I looked at that, I was like, oh, they must have gave her a shot in the back. She probably was like, I'm not performing, and they was just like, give it to her so she can get out there. That's just this girl's been through a lot. Anyway, I just wanted to show you.
Remember when Kanye came out and was like, George Bush hates black people? Do you remember that during was it during the Katrina?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just Mike Myers, they're sitting there, and Mike Myers' face just like
he was like,
motherfucker just say this live.
That was Kanye was like, you could tell he was like muscling up to it. Was like, George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Yeah,
Mike
just
was like,
just like, okay.
And then they hurry up and cut to Chris Tucker, and he's like,
Oh, that was so funny.
I guess I was too young to remember that. I don't remember that.
You gotta look it up, man.
Trying to think, when was that, yo?
It had to be during Katrina when they were doing the fundraisers and
Definitely was Katrina, because he was talking about how everybody.
I barely remember Katrina.
Everybody was in the like in the stadiums or something. I don't know, man. They had tanks.
Oh
out.
yeah.
Yeah, they had people who were in the Superdome, and yeah, that was a wild time.
You finding it, Matt? What you looking for?
It's got to be on YouTube somewhere.
By the way, we got a bunch of new people here today. If y'all can subscribe to the channel, we do the stream every week, every Friday, and we're going to be posting some clips throughout the week as well. So hit the subscribe button. It's going to be, we just started this channel, and it's doing pretty well already. So I appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully we see you next week too.
Right.
All right. I think I found this here. Yeah, this was hilarious, dude. And yeah, it's the Hurricane Foundation. So here.
Yeah, they were doing this whole.
It's not the best quality, but
it was so long ago. It's not gonna be like.
Yeah, this was 15 years ago.
Dog, that was like when going viral was not a thing, but that went viral.
And perhaps irreversibly. There's now over 25 feet of water where there was once city streets and thriving neighborhoods.
I hate the way they portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting.
He's already derailed.
Look at Mike Myers.
And you know,
he's sweating.
He's sweating because he's looking at the prompter like, that's like, not on.
That's you're going off track there, buddy.
Oh, it's been 5 days because most of the people are black. And even for me to complain about, I would be a hypocrite because I've tried to turn away from the TV because it's too hard to watch. I've even been shopping before even giving a donation. So now I'm calling my business manager right now to see what is the biggest amount I can give, and just to imagine if I was down there, and those are my people down there. So anybody out there that wants to do anything that we can help with the setup, the way America is set up to help the poor, the black people, the less well off as slow as possible. I mean, this is Red Cross is doing everything they can. We already realize a lot of the people that could help are
like, all right, we're back
right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us.
What?
In many ways more.
Wait, what? Where'd that come from at the end?
Because they were shooting looters and stuff. They were killing people.
Gotcha.
Many ways more profoundly devastating is the lasting damage to the survivors' will to rebuild and remain in the area. The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
He's like, what the fuck?
That's like an SNL skit. That doesn't even seem real, man.
And look at
Awesome.
Chris Tucker, dude. He's just like,
Mike Myers had a delay because I think he was like, "Did I just hear that?"
Yeah, did this guy go off script?
Play the.
Please call the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Please call.
In the past few days,
Chris Tucker's face.
It's funny because like there's like no more to that statement. Like that was his statement. Well, we gotta watch it one more time.
Yes, it was that good.
Destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Dude, I'm making that a clip. I'm playing that for donations and subs and stuff.
But then you got to include how Mike Myers' response and then Chris Tucker.
Please call.
This is like
this is too perfect. Like his eye movements and everything are just so perfect.
I can't believe you've never seen this before.
I don't even remember this time period. Like I had to evacuate. I barely remember like where I was and everything.
Oh wow, you are from down there.
Yeah.
Big.
None of my
Wow.
stuff got messed up though. We got lucky.
Okay. But you could tell in Kanye's face, he was like, F it, I'm about to say it. I'm just like, because he has this stillness in his face. He's like,
dude, that's so
and
funny.
he drops the like, yo, man, I'm just like, Kanye been for real. Yo, they gave him the hardest time after that. Then he had to perform a song. His mic was cutting out. He was like, I know my mic was cutting out. I mean, like, yeah. Yo, it was quite the time. I've never seen anything like
like Greta Lish. Yeah, it's a real life South Park.
It's so perfect all around. It's just so perfect.
Then Chris Tucker's like, y'all want me to? Oh, dang.
That's why when I heard like then they were saying Kanye West was kind of like going crazy, or Ye was going crazy over time, which I don't think he really. I mean, he's been a little off the wall, right? But I was like, I'm not that surprised. I remember this. I remember hearing about this. This was everywhere.
Yes,
like Katrina's news was everywhere, and then when this happened, everyone forgot about Katrina and was talking about this forever. It's like, yeah, people are still drowning. In other news, Kanye West is still, ousted from everything. Oh my God, it was freaking.
Actually, and they did kind of cancel him out for a little while with that. I mean, he still had a bank account, I think, but it
wasn't that bad. But it was. He got
George Bush Jewish.
Nah, I mean, well,
no, we know of.
I don't know. There's a whole nother. I don't know.
Early life check on George Bush. Somebody.
Why did you ever see the whole George Bush Senior funeral video?
No, what?
You never saw the video about the envelopes?
No.
Oh my God. I gotta find it. I gotta find it. So there's this big conspiracy, and you could see it. It's clear as day. During George Bush Senior, this is going down conspiracy hole rap. So keep in mind, there's videos.
Comedy based.
Yeah, during the funeral of George Bush Senior, you could see Clinton, Biden, Obama, Jeb Bush, all of them received a letter. In Mike Pence, all of them received a letter in their like the little brochure thing for the funeral, and they're all opening it. You see them, watch them read it, and they're all looking at each other like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, and then they're realizing they've all got this letter. Trump didn't get one.
Yeah,
everyone else got a letter. You see Jeb Bush's face, like they're carrying George Senior's body out, right, like the coffin, and you see Laura Bush nudges Jeb and shows him the letter. He looks down and his face just goes ghost white. And he's just like, and nobody knows what the letter said. There's speculation that they said, it's speculation basically saying like, I told them all, I'm sorry. That's what George Bush Sr. gave to them after his death. Like, hey, I ratted out the family. Because there's a very famous quote that George Bush said. It's like, if people knew what my family did, they would string us up from, like he actually said that in an interview. So let me try to find that video if I can.
I mean, since we're having comedy, what are we calling it? Like, since
comedy
we're talking about this stuff, yeah, they're part of. There's like a whole documentary of who they really are. Jesus, man. God damn, man. We've been infiltrated for so long. It's not even right.
Yeah.
It's not right, dog. Like, you think there's certain truths that when you find them out, it's like, it's almost bizarre.
I don't know if this is the whole video because I know it's quite a long video, the one that I saw, but this is pretty clear as day. Just mute it because they're playing some little stupid music in the back.
I think in light of all of the
other video, there should be 2 on that. So see the letter dropped?
Yeah.
Watch. They're all getting these letters. And they start freaking out by what the letters are saying. Watch Jeb Bush's face when Laura Bush. So she's reading her letter, and they're carrying him out. Look at her face, and look at his.
Oh my
Immediate
God.
distraught, like, and look at his face. They're all panicked about this letter. Look, this is where it's like, what the fuck that letter come from? What is that? And then they all start talking about it because they're all starting to panic.
Wait, she's like, did you get one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I would mute that. I don't know. Yeah. Look, watch this. I can't believe you guys don't know about this.
I've never seen this.
So she's reading it, and then she nudges him, and and you could watch his face, man. Is it playing?
Is it frozen?
Yeah, it's.
That's never happened.
It froze on my end for a second.
Yeah, it is freezing a little bit. I hate when Twitter does that.
Are they about to make the call? Because it's good on my end.
It's still frozen here. It's the circled where you see Mike Pence's.
Oh, it's playing. It was playing for me. Hold on. What about now?
You're backing it up. Try to play it. Okay, now it's playing.
Okay.
So yeah, see her letter? I had it circled.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they, so that's the thing. There's a certain letter out there. I don't think I could say it on YouTube.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they say that this is what that's tied to. I don't know, right? All I know is that if you research this, because this is all I found on Twitter. There's here's another. This is a minute 13 seconds. How long? It's about the same. I wish I could find the freaking.
I'm gonna go look into this after the stream for sure.
Oh yeah, it's
I am
wild,
too.
man.
I am too. But
it's wild.
Let me just say though, it killed. But look, one person didn't get the letter. So, and I'm supposed to believe that he's in on it too. But he seems to never be a part of it. Like, I don't know how come he didn't get the letter, right?
Yeah, he was never supposed to win.
And there's a video on here I just found. It's like a lip reader reveals what the top leader says. It's on YouTube apparently. But I mean, who knows if it's legit or not. And it was on Insider News, right? Like everyone was like, people have called this out, and it's just no one knows exactly what were in those letters and why they were so panicked. I did see one leak, like I said. It said something about like George Bush saying like, "I'm sorry, I said everything." But
that's creepy as hell. I don't want to get no letter from your dead body while I'm at your feet. You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, even if it said hello, I'd be like, "Come on, man, chill out with that." That's what the letter said. Whoopi Spears. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, but I do have to get out of here soon. So if y'all have any other topics, then let me know.
I dropped off my Britney, so that's
that's all I got.
Breaking news.
All right. If that's all y'all got, then I think we'll call it here. We're going over 2 hours. Please leave a like on the stream. I'd really appreciate it. We got 24 watching right now. And we will be back next week at the same time, hopefully. Same day, same time, if everybody's good with that.
Yeah.
And we'll be posting some videos throughout the week. I really appreciate all the support. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Night Rowan and GR, Gretalicious, EMS, everybody else who's in the chat. Thank y'all.
Yes.
And
everybody who came through. Yeah.
Make sure you go subscribe to Matt, subscribe to Casey, subscribe to Justin Reloaded. If y'all want to drop the links one more time while we play the outro music, go ahead and do that. But with that being said,
I'm not here to be some sexy slap meat for girls. Girls are here to be sexy for me. Throw it back at a nigga. And that's why you're gonna drop that ass for a nigga. Because you were here to drop that ass for a nigga. I'm not here to be some sexy slap meat for girls. Girls are here to be sexy for me. Throw it back at a nigga. And that's why you're gonna drop that ass for a nigga. Because you were here to drop that ass for a nigga. I'm not here to be some sexy slap meat for girls. Girls are here to be sexy for me. Throw it back at a nigga. And that's why you're gonna drop that ass for a nigga. Because you were here to drop that ass for a nigga. Throw it back at 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 a nigga. I'm not here to be some sexy slap meat for girls. Girls are here to be sexy for me. Throw it back at a nigga. Throw it back at a nigga.